to a strong start. But to talk about the set will be my co-caster, Johnny.
What's up, everyone? Excited to be here. We're up to the quarterfinals in Stone Angel, and we've got Boosted Slinger. I feel like this is his most renowned kill at the moment, Sazi. What do you think?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we've seen Boosted Slinger like 2 or 3 times, and every time on the casting desk, we're like, fuck, why'd they let Slinger through? What a terrible decision. And it is, man. Letting his Slinger through is crazy. There's quite a few killers that you need to ban against Forsaken. I completely understand that, but we are going to see the down very early, and this just shows how good his mechanics are. They're going to be insane. This is a great Suffer Boosted, but Doordinosix consists of a really good survivor team. A71, Frozen, really good, well-renowned survivors, and they did great in Source earlier back in the day. This is seasons ago. But honestly, I'm pretty keen to see this one. I think that if there is a team that could fight back from SCA, it's definitely going to be this one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just looking at the Survivor roster, you're seeing multiple names you'll recognize. Gestrix, No Score, A71, Frozen, renowned players in the SEA community. But I'm wondering here, who's going to be playing their killers? Because usually a team like this have really good killer players like Xtap in, but are we going to be seeing Gestrix step up here? Or what's your thoughts on it, Stasi? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I have no clue who the killer is supposed to be. I think someone said before it might have been Gestrix, but that's not a killer that I'm commonly see. To see Gestrix on killer would be a real surprise, to be honest. We are screening towards 6 here. We have located a survivor on the bot side of Shaq. We were just able to screen them, but no, we are going to take the miss instead. This is going to be a free reload. We also have access to a perfect line on the hook here. We are going to get a very quick hit. This is going to be Frozen taking the first damage state, making their way up towards mid. We do have access to, I was going to say we have access to buttons here, but we actually don't. We used it to make our way in. We are going to go for the cross here, force the miss, and we are going to make it towards the top side. We cross the choke. That's going to be huge value, and we are going to see Boosted see the first gen of the trial proc. That is going to be 11 done, and we see another chase incoming as well.
No, I love it already. They got the pull right before second. They've made top, and now they're playing for the 4-gen bottom. Boosted can't commit to this. He knows this. He needs to go bottom and hold these gens if he has any hopes of 4K. He does find Frozen again, but I think this is just a bad chase to commit unless he can hook bottom. Does get the beautiful snipe here, and I think he'll down this and drag bottom and just hold the gens as much as he can. And we see a reset coming off from Gestrix as well, resetting No Score here. And I think they'll just leave. Yeah, he's trying to slug and find the reset that he knows that's happening top here. I think the survivors could just stealth him here and he could really get punished here. But he does see the scratch marks and the chase commences onto Gestrix.
Yeah, this is a really scary spot to take the first chase as well. We've dropped the first hit, actually. So we've seen the first hit onto Gestrix. However, we saw a pallet drop as well. I think there is a chance that we could have committed for that chase and gone for a quick down, but I think with the pallet down, it probably would have been a little bit less likely than what we would have hoped for. But we do see Gestrix is definitely still on the top side. The mend is gone, and this will give us a lot of information about what the survivors are doing. We do see a bottom gen does actually end up proccing in the background. We still have a 3-gen at bottom. It isn't too tight. I suppose there is kind of a mid-gen. Oh no, that's actually down at 4. So that is going to be quite a tight 3-gen. Some of them are just a bit more central than others, but we are going to see Boosted is going to commit to the bottom side of the map here. We do find a survivor that is going to be our ace pumping out. A71 will be taking a very quick first hit here. Was taking the chase towards bottom. Is going to continue taking the chase towards bottom. We're going to make our way directly into Shaq. However, we don't have access to too many defensive tools here. We will be taking the first down there on the pallet that is going to force a break, and we see Shaq is now gone. We are going to try and read the check spots here, but Boosted is right on top of us, and we go for a miss here as well. I saw the screen lagged a little bit, but that's going to be A71 making free distance here. Just saw a reload. This is going to be the down, but that bought about 20 seconds of extra time compared to what could have been down, so that was actually quite a lot of value we got out of that. We see 3 survivors are fully reset in the background. Everyone is back to healthy, but Boosted is going to make this the 3rd hook of the trial. This is going to be A71's first hook here. So we do have two Scourge hooks as well. So we're pumping towards the mid game here. We've really smashed out a few of those early gens. We've seen one drop, one do top, one do bottom. So the survivors have done a good split so far. However, we know that there is still a 3-gen at bottom, and honestly, I don't really like that 4-gen either. That 4-gen's in a really, really terrible spot. We have this mid-gen as well, my god. So Boosted does still have quite a bit of action to fight for. It's just about how can we sneak in for these unhooks and really push towards either that 4-gen proccing or that 7-gen proccing.
Yeah, no, it's looking good for Boosted now. Now that he's got someone hooked in the 3-gen again. But I'm not too sure about survivors putting Gestrix on the hook here, because you can tell Boosted thinks there's someone wrapping for the pull here if he pressures Gestrix. But when we were looking at the spectators, there was someone just sitting top mid. So if Boosted somehow gets that tag on Gestrix for free, it's just going to be free pressure. But Boosted has to interrupt Gestrix at some point, because if that gen pops, it's game over. There's no hope of a 4K here.
Yeah, the 7-gen's in a very precarious position, not because of the way it's positioned on the map, but just for virtue of it being inside the 3-gen and being the most defendable in terms of the survivors, right? We do see A71 is going to go to second here, so that A is going to push us in the right direction. We see that 7 is still being worked on. I don't know whether it's... Oh, it is! It's actively being worked on here. It's at about 70%. We're pumping it out. We go for a shot. It is a miss, and we are very, very concerned about A71 getting off the hook here. If we can go for one more miss, this is huge! My god, okay, that is going to be massive, because if we can fight for the unhook, we might see the gen proc here, and if we're going to sneak in, that was going to be the time. But still, it is sitting at about 80% here. We've got our Nia will be coming in. This is going to be frozen. We do catch them. We see that someone's here, but we can't actually get a good line of sight on them. We're going to need to get very lucky with this hit, but we see in the background that jet is being pumped, and we're at 95%, and we are now rotating instead for the gen, and it is very close to getting done as well. I think we actually might have been able to finish that, but we're trying to hold a choke here. We can't. He gets past us, but we're gonna get the hit anyway, and that is going to be the gen in the background that is going to proc. That is going to be all 5 gens done in the trial.
No, I have no words here, Starzy. This is what you expect from the Survivor roster. I was thinking, I haven't seen these guys play in a while, so I wonder what their skill level's at the moment. And it's just the exact same team that I remember. Just beautifully played macro-wise, chase-wise. There's not much Booster could do in this situation. I think he just... If those gens were positioned a little bit better, and if he played the early game a bit more aggressive with forcing that hook, guaranteeing the second, I think there could have been a world here where he would have 4K'd. But it was just one small mistake. And this isn't the type of team that lets you get away with those mistakes. He does get it down here, though. This could be a 6 stage if he takes the hook here. Or is he greeding for more?
It looks like we are going for some sort of greed. I think we're trying to get it down onto A71. But I think in this scenario, it's not really worth. You're probably going to let the other survivor out if you get that. But this is going to be a 6-stage 3 fresh here, which all in a result is pretty mediocre, to be honest. That's really not the result you're looking for. Especially for someone of Boosted's caliber in Deathslinger.
I wasn't expecting Gestrix, but I'm loving what I'm seeing here because I've never seen his skill player, and he's a great survivor player. But here, I'm looking at the roster here, and do my eyes deceive me, Starzy? I think we're missing a survivor here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Forgotten team have forgotten the best survivor in the lineup. Fuck, there's no Spacey, bro. Where is he? All right, team. Look, it's not looking good after this blunder. We've already had a pre-game blunder, but you know what? That's all right. We can lock in. We can get the win. But we are going to see the first chase actually is a miss. Sorry, the first shot is a miss. But we do see the first chase does occur onto our resident Deathslinger player. It is going to be boosted. We're not... Oh, no, we're not winding properly. So we see boosted was able to drag that out a little bit longer. Didn't go for the... Oh, didn't go for the delay. But boosted is going to get 2-tapped here. This is going to be a start that you really don't want. We see all 3 survivors have crossed. But I think in this scenario, seeing a 2-tap that early, that's going to be very dangerous. And that probably wouldn't have happened if Spacey was on the lineup.
No, I don't think it would have. I think Spacey's aura would have just made it miss that shot. But needless to say, we've got a 4-gen top here. But also, look at these gen bottom, by the way. If I'm Gestrix here, I'd probably just go, yeah, I'll just grab all these. So if this survivor runs bottom here, I wouldn't be surprised if he just commits. or just runs top. I mean, that's also a win.
Yeah, I think we are going to see the Claudette is going to make their way towards 3. We are going to try and have a juicy chase here. We did not get off to the most ideal start, but we are going to buy a little bit of extra time here and go for the dodge as well. We're going to make our way all the way up towards 1. We do have a filler that is accessible to us. It is going to be the main filler, has been dropped. And even if we get hit here, that is absolutely fine. We're going to get good value, but we are going to get away. Main filler has been dropped. Claudette is going to be making their way all the way around. Man, but oh my god, we've just been shit on! It's just so over. It's so, I mean, I think Spacey probably would have seen through that, you know, like probably. But that's just an example, right? That's just going to be an example of unfortunate check spots. Sometimes, you might rotate your camera just a little bit too slow, and you completely misread where the killer is, and that's a great example of that because we know that the pallet was actually broken first, so we would have had to have seen the killer walk back through that window. You can see the window. And yeah, maybe Ben just rotated the camera a little bit too slow, wasn't in the right position, and gave a very quick down there. And in a situation like this, where 7 stages is the win con, that's a very costly mistake to make.
I agree. I think if 10U held that check spot a bit better there and like paid attention to where the kill was. I mean, like even because he wasn't in chase, you could hear the heartbeat and just go, something's not adding up here. Why is the heartbeat getting louder, but I don't see the killer, right? But I mean, honestly, it's Slinger, it's ping. You sometimes hold check spots a bit weirdly. It's not the worst thing to happen, right? If it was an M1 killer, definitely a bit worse. But we do find the stealth here where he gets found. I think it's beautiful dodge.
Yeah, that is going to be wary.
Yep.
That is going to be wary, getting away for free. And we are going to see the unhook does occur in the background. We won't be holding any more wacky check spots, but this is going to be Claudette, who is found trying to rotate all the way around main. We go for an early bolt. We do go for the miss. This is going to buy us a little bit of extra time. We are making our way towards Twilight. However, we do know that gens are progressing in the background. This is going to be a relatively quick down, but Wary still stuck on the top side. However, we go for the hit. It is not going to connect. And we are going to see Deathslinger does get the 3rd hook of the trial here. This gen is slightly progressed, but not enough to where it really matters. We still do have access to quite a good 4-gen here. We see the 4-gen in mid, and we also see the other half at 1. So we do have quite a lot of actionability for our killer here. We do have quite a few resources that we really can play around. The survivors are getting forced to play around the top side of the map. We do see a hook is on the edge. Is on the edge of the hit there. Actually gets a hit, cancels it. I mean, was that a cancel? What was that?
I think it was on purpose because he didn't want to risk Wary running in and then getting the pull for free. Because I think that tag on Booster would have lasted about like 8 seconds before he got the injure. And he didn't want to risk Wary just sniping the pull and then making bottom. So I don't hate it too much, but I would have been greedy and just committed for the tag.
We are going to see our survivors are going to make their way in. This is going to be a double save. Wary taking the first hit. Enlightened will get the unhook. And this is also going to be another hit onto Enlightened. It looks like we are forcing ourselves for the down here. Enlightened, instead of going for the corner, we are going to see our Claudette coming for the hit take. It is going to be a miss. And we are going to be able to make the fast vault because of it. This is going to be huge. We are going to keep the 4-sack alive for just a little bit longer. But the question is, can we buy enough time for the gen to proc? It is looking very unlikely. However, we are going for some wacky movement that is buying us time here, and we go for a vault fake, but is going to see the down here, and that is going to be 1 has been completed. So the 3-gen is now involving mid. So the 3-gen has become weaker because mid is much more defendable for the survivors than the top 2 gens are. So the fact that 1 is gone here, I'd say that's actually quite a big win for the survivors, Johnny.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's very easy to attack mid here, and especially because now the killer's 4.4, he doesn't have line of sight on either gens here. If they could just genuinely stealth him every single time he gets close to that generator. And I'd love to see that being the play here, because this is a killer where you can't really hold chase against for long. But game's not just guaranteed to win for the survivors here. If he finds a line or Weary and just hooks and face camps, that's the win.
Yeah, I think it's very, very scary playing around such a little win. I mean, an extra 2 stages could have completely changed the game here, right? And It is really starting to show with how the survivors are being forced to play as well. We're being forced to play slower and more efficiently. But we are going to see where he is going to take a chase towards bottom. This is going to be our third fresh. If we are able to get the hook, this is also going to be our fifth hook. So we're in quite a good spot here as Gestrix, even if where he has a long chase, which it's not shaping up to be because we force ourselves onto the edge map. Then we're in quite a good position, but Wary will be going for his fastball here, actually buying a lot of time at the Z-wall, a lot more than should have been bought. We see that one of the top gens is being progressed. That is going to be 12 that's being pumped down. And we also see a stealth unhook coming through. I think that is Enlightened there. It's a little bit hard to tell. Yes, that is going to be Enlightened. Stealthing for the hook on the other side of the water tower. So we still have a lot of pressure to go from our survivors. Enlightened probably hasn't been working on a gen for very long, so I doubt that mid is heavily progressed. But oh my god, we've almost been seen there. We've just been seen.
This is spelling trouble, Starzy. I think this is Wincon if he just takes the 1-for-1. Enlightened can't pull. Yeah. Honestly, it's looking dire, to say the least. I don't think he even gets this in time. On ping? Oh, he does. But it doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just completely game over.
Well fought from the survivors, though. I definitely think I definitely thought it'd be more of a slaughter on the top side there, but they played well, broke the gens, and if Booster got a little bit extra on the stages, I think this could have been a win for Forsaken.
Yeah, it would have forced them to play in a little bit of a different way as well, which when you know that the win con's easier, you do play in a different way. I think when you play 6 stages, it's almost like, it's just one mistake and that's it, and you've really got no room for error. And the survivors played pretty well around that. Honestly, it was generally a pretty close game. We still might see a 4K1, depending on the unhook here. But we are going to see where he does take the down at 11. Boosted is either pumping a gen or getting an unhook in the background. It is going to be the unhook. We do have access to Lithe here as well. So we are going to see 6 stuff getting progressed. However, we know that really none of these gens have any progress at all. Mid might have a little bit, but actually don't hear anything on it. So that is going to be all 3 gens are at 10% or less. We know that Boosted is starting to pump out 6. We are most likely going to see the cross from Enlightened, which will get the unhook onto Wary, maybe a double onto 11 as well, or just a single and another rotate, depending on how long Boosted's chase lasts down bottom. But we do see that Boosted is on the gen here. We have been caught. We are at the Z-wall, but we do have access to Lithe. However, against a killer like Deathslinger, it is going to be very difficult to really play around it. We do get the full access out of Lithe, but it doesn't even matter because we're just going to take the M1 anyway.
Yeah, against a killer like Slinger, you kind of want to force the power as much as you can. Getting M1 into an M2 is almost just guaranteed to tap most of the times. And Shaq isn't safe against this killer. If Gestrix wants, he can just fault window. And Boosted knows this, that's why he's doubling keying away. But I believe the survivors are just doubling a gen at 10 or 11 at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like
and the Gestrix knows.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway.
We are going for a time buy that is going to be Boosted, making their way back towards 6. Wary and Inline were doing the double as predicted before. However, turn back the clock is really going to make us struggle here. We do have another chase occurring at 11. This is going to be Wary on the down. This will turn into a 2v1. Boosted at bottom still, probably working 6. We might see the double coming in from Enlightened here. However, there's not much for Wary to play around to buy extra time. We do go for a vault. Ends up working, but we are going to see the down. We do see that there are 2 gens being progressed here. Enlightened working on 10 still. 10 sitting at about 60, and we also see another gen at 50 here. So, Enlightened needs to have a pretty decent chase to get value. We just see turn back the clock is used on this gen, though. Oh my god, that's going to be the down.
Yep. Game over for Forgotten here. I think Gestrix have just done an amazing job here, I think. I have no words. Well played by Gestrix, the survivors. They played well, fought well. Very, very fun watch, actually, for a ping slinger set. When it comes to this killer, I feel like stealthing needs to be more prioritized, especially on a map as big as Suffo. I think if they played that 3v1 when they still had the 4 gen top, just slow and just tried stealthing more, they could have gotten the result, or it could have been way closer. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you think about this, Sazi?
I mean, you know, as we said before, once you get a certain amount of stages, you do get forced to play very differently. I mean, even if you don't get a 4K, like the amount of stages, it's not just mental. It changes how you play the game completely. Like if you know that you've only got a low stage count, you are going to play in a more stealth effective way. If you've got what a 4K 3 win con, you can just blitz it out. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
6 stage is always going to get us off to a bad start. It doesn't really matter what the killer is at this point, unless it's like a trapper or something, which I don't think is even allowed in this balancing, fortunately. So in that scenario, it really just doesn't matter what the killer is. You're going to get forced to play differently. But this is going to be enlightened and boosted on top of each other, taking the last chase. We are going to try and see a screen away. That is going to be a miss. Enlighten continues to take the chase here. This is going to be our third hook for Enlighten as well, and this will be our 10th hook of the game if we can get this one. So, we've already smashed through this win con. We played really well. 4K1, very common, but getting us off to a great start for Doordinosix here. Absolutely crushing it early, and that's exactly what you'll see. And, Gestrix really not a very well-known killer, in my opinion, but came out with a really good set, man. It was able to really clutch up and honestly get a great result. This is going to be the 10th stage of the trial.
Yeah, I believe this is the 10th stage of the trial, the last hook of the trial, because I think he's going to more in line here. Line's trying to stealth with the aura. He actually could, just because the map's that big, but I don't think it matters anymore. Yeah, and Line knows he's just going to sit the gen, get the game over with, and we'll go into the next set, which I believe is Ghoul, which is, we're not leaving the Suffocation Pit, I believe. We'll be right back here again.
By Gestrix, that was the 4K1, got us off to an excellent start, and we were able to get a very, very confident win on that set, which is actually the set that Forsaken chose. So this is going to be Doordinosix in their home turf now. We are going to be starting off on Killer, and this is the set that we've really got a lot of value now. We've got a lot of traction. We've won the enemy set, now we've just got to win our own. This is the exact situation you want to be in early.
Spacey. We got Spacey on the roster. Hope. Fill me with hope right now. I'm so excited. Leave in line right now. Spacey, come take a hit, inject yourself and chase. But no, we get cut off from Shaq. I don't know how you feel about this killer, Starzy, but I think this killer is weak. From my experience against this killer, which was, we started playing against him when he first came out. We got spam 4K3 over and over again on Wretched. But after about a year of updates, we played it again, and it was just terrible. The killer's horrible. I think the results should be very low against this killer constantly.
Yeah, I don't really scrim, so I don't know. I'm not really a champion of the scrims against Ghoul, so I can't comment too much, but I have heard from a couple teams that the general consensus is that he's weaker than he used to be. Oh, we see Enlighten, who was stealthing, did force a missed hit there, but it really doesn't matter. We are going to see the down. We actually caught his puddles of blood. Dude, that's going to be a huge problem. This is going to be a down 1 in basement. 2, this is going to be a very early tunnel out now. Even if Enlighten does get hooked when he's on the other side of the map, we're going to make it back. We're not going to be able to out-stealth that. We need external help from other perks. So it's going to be very difficult to really pull this one back. That's I don't hate the idea of stealthing in basement. It does work. But when you do it and your blood gets caught, there's just nothing you can do. It's completely over. And that is going to be one of those examples. Sometimes it just won't pay off. We are going to see the next chase on to our Claudette here.
Yep, no. Situation dire, team. Death hook at 5. Like I just said, I think the killer should be low stages. This is not the start you want to see against this killer. And we see Bang hitting a bit of a jiggy here while he runs away. I don't know what was that. The Gestrix is looking for the stealth here. I wouldn't be surprised if Gestrix just sits on basement stairs and forces Death here. I don't think this Death... Oh my god, we've got Spacey in chase. Spacey gives him a tag for free because he's feeling a bit generous. But yep, Gestrix is going back to hook, forcing Death here. I think they're going to get 1, maybe 2 jack. Oh nope, someone's ran in. But the problem here is now we've seen all 3 survivors in chase within 30 seconds of each other. So there's not a lot of gen progress here. And Alliance been tagged for his basic BT. He doesn't have that to save him anymore, but he does have Crane. Hopefully we can see a smash here to make it a big distance. And so problems team. So I don't know if you know this anymore. I don't know if you know this, Stasi, but when the Ghoul vaults into you, they can't hit you anymore when they vault into you. So if you just vault back into them, you're fine. You can just permanently vault into them. But I don't know if Enlightened knew that or not.
Yeah, I think not, because we did see the down there. There is going to be Enlightened tunnel out at 4 gens. That is going to be a very early tunnel out, especially as you're saying on a Ghoul set, which should be considerably lower stages. But we are going to see if we can clutch up on the 3v1. We've seen it before where some teams play better on the 3v1 than they do the 4v1. So who knows, man? Maybe we'll be able to make it work. Maybe we'll get a stun here and we'll be all good. Nope, that's not going to be the stun. That is going to be the down instead. And I don't think Flow State's going to get us out of that one. That is going to be down number 1 for Boosted. And honestly, this 3v1, it's starting off in a bit of an awkward situation. We are going to see a Scourge hook is over here. We might be seeing a hit take, actually. No, we're not. We're seeing Claudette instead screen away from the hook. That is going to be, I think, our gen that was regressed there by Scourge Hook Pain Res. But we are going to be heading down. We are looking for this stealthing Claudette. We do know she's nearby. We're in the right area. We're right behind this little set of tires here. However, we've not been able to locate her, and we don't want to waste too much time. So we are going to rotate away from the hook, assumedly, and look to see if we can get some turn back the clock value. We are looking towards, this is going to be 10 here, and we see that it was getting progressed. We forced the screen, we see the unhook, we don't know where to go, but we are going to return back to the unhook.
Thank the entity Bang wasn't found there, because if he was, problems team. Could be a 4K4, but honestly, I think all they need is one person to have a good chase here, and then it could get down to 4K1. Or even 4K0. That's how bad I think this killer is. But it's still an M1 killer on ping. So this is still possible to get downs here. I mean, look at this setup Bang's got here. That's why Gestrix is leaving. He's got the good filler into that God palette. And now he's just decided to chase Boosted. He's also got a good filler. What are you even doing here in Gestrix's position? Break zoning. Love that. But yeah, no, I think the survivors are in a really good position here, and I think they can still get not low stages, but like a decent result that's playable for their killer player.
Oh, but unfortunately, we are going to see the down here. This is going to be Boosted, who will be taking the second down. This will be Hook State number 5. We do have access to our second tunnel out now. We are going to be going on the hook at 1. And we do know that we do have another surviving, and it's just going to be Claudette, barely seen by maybe a pixel. That is going to be enough, and that is going to be an instant down as well. And this is starting to look more and more like a 4K3, and Spacey down at the bottom of the map might be rotating to fight for the 4K2 in this scenario. We do see that this gen's 50. If the killer plays around the hook states, which I think he may, based on what we're seeing, we actually are going to see Spacey get the third pop.
Yeah, no. If I'm Gestrix here, if I was Gestrix in this position right now, with a big fat smile on my face, I'm saying, guys, I'm 4K'ing 2 at least. But no, he's going to Shaq, and he's going to get that 4K free. Just want to make sure everyone knows that Spacey's the last person to get hooked here. Gestrix knows that he's the best survivor here, and he doesn't want to chase him, saving him to last. And now we're going to see what Spacey is made of in this chase.
Yeah, we are going to...
Oh. It's just the ping. He's not used to the ping.
Yeah, that was probably a ping down because he was very close to the pallet. But, you know, if it was a difficult one, you're the only survivor left. I mean, you know, it all comes down to you. And yeah, unfortunately, we saw a 4K3 in favor of Doordinosix. That's a great start for them.
What Boosted could do on the killer here. He's probably in VC right now saying, everyone mute up except Spacey. I need the macro comms here. And we're going to see if Boosted can pull off a 4K4 or a 4K3. What do you think, Stasi?
I mean, with Spacey on the macro, I think it could be done. I think this is winnable. We do see our first chase is going to come through from our near. This is going to be balanced. However, we are going to get hit through it only just. And this is going to be an M1 here as well. So that's a great start for us. And this is going to be a very awkward spot as well to take a power hit. However, we are going to be able to use it to effectively get to Shaq here. We are going to try and go for a body block, but we see all three survivors are working on gens in the background. This is going to be boosted for the first chase, hopefully a quick first down, and we actually break quite a weak filler there as we try and play around the window and get back to Shaq, but no, we're forced away, and oh, that's not exact. Oh, that's a rough power use. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, no, definitely not the power you want to use there. But I think Frozen just decided, yeah, death spot 7 here. I'm just going to die corner because you saw he had the distance to run up to bust there, but he just didn't want to interrupt the person sitting 10. And you can see the survivors are free splitting. That's going to be so much gen pressure here. If I'm boosted right now, I'm worrying. If 2 of those gens pop, that's Tycon.
Yeah, and that's just going to give crazy value. We saw that all 3 of them were at least about 40-50%. We see this one is no exception, sitting at about 60, I think. So the survivors are really pumping away, and although we've got access to turn back the clock, and we do have pain res as well, we are getting value from our aggressions, but it's not fast enough to where we can really counteract how much pressure the survivors are already putting through. It's not to say that this isn't winnable, but because we are fighting for a very quick 3v1 here. However, we forced ourselves into a situation where it's going to be very difficult to really come back for a 4K4, as so many gens are just so highly progressed already, and there's really not much Boosted can do about it. When survivors know that they have a specific win con where they only need top 3 gens, they play completely differently, and we're seeing a 3-split example there. And even though we've got all these regressions, they are pumping away right now.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Boosted has to pressure the entire map constantly, and Blood Lodge is not a small map. And even if he like constantly tags, leaves, kicks, and repeats that, eventually he's gonna need to down someone and then pick them and hook them. And I think as soon as that happens, it's just gens are popping, and we can really see in the background, No Score is gonna pop 1 gen. 1 more gen, that's Tycon. And we can see A71 very confident how the killer works here. He knows what to do. And I think he just makes his vault. No, lost the 50. And he goes down, but I don't think it matters. This is just a really hard win con to me. And No Score is about to pop the second. Pain Res will only slow the inevitable here.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it wasn't even on that gen.
Yeah, that's pretty concerning, because we did actually see Pain Res pop. We just didn't see it pop on the gen that we wanted it to, and No Score's gen is going to be sitting down at about 80 now, but we're still going to see it pump away. Because we saw Geztrix pumping away at a different one as well. So 3 survivors injured. Gens are smashing this trial, and this is looking like a great win for Doordinosix here. And honestly, a 2-0 is just around the corner. As we see, No Score does pop in the background there. It's going to be a misuse of the power. We do see the second gen of the trial does proc. Now, the best that Boosted can fight for is a Tycon. However, it is looking very skint. This is going to be a very difficult one to try and battle for. We do see Boosted does find the chase, but no, that is going to be the 3rd gen of the trial procking. That is going to be the win for Doordinosix.
Unfortunate. And I think Boosted would still get a good result here with all things considered. It's just impossible win con to me. 4K4 on a map as big as Blood Lodge. I don't know what killer would be able to do that. Oh, wow. No Score wants to get out. He's done. He's met his win con. He's got places to be. But, no, well played by the survivors, which is what I expected. But, yeah, it's just a hard win con to me. I'm not sure why they didn't put space on the killer here. I think he would have made that win con with his eyes closed. But it's just unfortunate. He might have wanted to give Boosted a bit of a chance to shine. Let the newer generation try and get some good results, you know, a bit of practice. But no, well played by Boosted of all things considered. Impossible win con, but at least they tried, you know.
The newer generation. How long has Boosted been in comp cut? There's no way you call Boosted the newer generation.
Has he been playing comp for about like 2 weeks?
What the fuck are you saying? All right, so I don't. Yeah, all right. 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I guess I took a break from comp. Maybe I got the names mixed up. Maybe maybe I'm still learning who Boosted is. But we do. Well, you know what? For 2 weeks in comp, he's doing a really good job right now. Good on him. I think he's doing very well for someone who's been here for 2 weeks. But we are going to see Forsaken drop the win here, so this is going to be the elimination. We are in single elim now, and this is quarterfinals, so there is going to be Doordinosix are going to be moving on to the semi-finals here, and they will verse either Gospel or Kaido Kids, which will be a tough matchup either way, really. But a great win for Doordinosix. That is going to be a Forsaken out. That is going to be 6 teams left in the tournament, and we have another series later tonight. So by the end of tonight, we'll be down to 5.
Yeah, no, exciting things. We could be versing this team in the future, Stasi. And I'll tell you what, we're banning Ghoul, that's for sure.
You could be versing. You could be. I'm not playing this. I'm not doing this.
You're a Ghoul player.
Oh, fuck off, loser.
Run, no score, he's gonna kill you! No!
I see and a couple of extra hits will come through. Yeah, so we can be versing this team, so that's very exciting. It's cool to see them really clutch up. I think Ghoul will be a pretty strong ban against them, to be honest. We see why it was picked first for them. It's not just about how the killer plays, it's a lot about the survivors as well, and the survivors had a great result, man. Honestly, they played extremely well here. You could tell by the way that they played that they really understood how the power works. Just that alone can be a huge win for them, right? Like, just understanding killer mechanics will get you an extra few stages, and we saw it in this game. That is going to be a 4 stage.